Welcome to Jewish Cinémathèque, where we meet some of the important faces involved with films that tackle aspects of the Jewish experience. Today I'm joined by film directors Mihal Brezis and Oded Binnun, whose film Dead Language was the only Israeli feature film to be included in the 2025 Tribeca Film Festival in New York. Mihal and Oded are a filmmaking dynamic duo and real-life couple whose film is a feature-length adaptation of their earlier Oscar-nominated live-action short, Aya. Mihal and Oded have previously directed the award-winning The Etruscan Smile that starred Brian Cox and Rosanna Arquette. Their early works include short films Sabbath Entertainment, Tuesday's Women, and Lost Paradise, which have garnered over 40 international awards in festivals worldwide. In Dead Language, a chance encounter with a complete stranger at Ben Gurion Airport propels Aya into a series of events that raise all kinds of questions about rules and regulations in life. And let's take a look at a clip from the film Dead Language.
What is this?
Sorry? This one is tahini, an eggplant.
I feel a little adventurous today. This one, please. What are you having?
Oh no, I'm fine. Thank you.
To still to go.
To
To
go.
stay?
The film stars Sarah Adler, Ulrich Thompson, and Yechezkel Lazarov. Mihal and Oded, welcome to Jewish Cinémathèque.
Thank you for having us.
So it's very exciting. You're here to be in the Tribeca Film Festival. This is, you've made many films together, but this is only your second feature together. And how did it come about? How did the story for Aya, which was made how many years back?
12.
12
Yes.
years back. Fantastic. And which was nominated. So you were actually at the Oscars. Fantastic. Nominated for an Oscar. And so how did that come about? And then what was the process of taking that short film and making it into a feature-length film?
So interestingly enough, actually, we had the idea for the feature before the short, but as a vague idea. And then when we were about to work on it, a French producer with whom we made some of the previous shorts that you mentioned came to us and said, I got from the French film fund, more money to make another short because you've won prizes, so it works like that. And he said, let's make another short. And we told him, but we were focused on making our first feature now. And but then we realized you don't say no to money in film.
Especially if you're an Israeli filmmaker.
Yes, but I think pretty much any filmmaker.
That's true.
And so we said, well, then we'll do it as sort of a pilot. We'll go with we'll explore the character. And basically we took the first sequence of the film that we've now come to make and did that, and that became Aya. We never thought that it would reach, it was almost like an experiment for us. It was, and then it got to the Oscars, and then instead of going back to the initial plan of making the feature, as you mentioned, because it had a success, so we were offered to make another film, and it's like we took detours, a bit like our character in the film, until we finally reached where we wanted, what was there in the beginning.
That's a crazy story, but I guess it's not unlike the story that many Israeli filmmakers have. But here you got the money to go ahead and make it. But 12 years in making, how did you find your actors?
Okay, even from when we were film students, I think Sarah Adler was always an actor.
You were film students at the Sam Spiegel Jerusalem Film School.
Yeah, we actually met at first year of film school.
Really?
Since then, we from the very initial film school assignments, we did everything together. So we actually don't know any other way. And I think that as film students, we always admired Sarah Adler and dreamed of doing something with her. So the first opportunity that we had, we offered her the role of Aya. And in some way, we even like wrote it for her. And then, like Mihal said, the film took us elsewhere. We were in the Oscar, and after that we did That Rusk and Smile, and we took our whole family to San Francisco and to London, and that took some years, and then it took some more years to finish writing the script and finding the finance for this film. So by the time we got to really produce it, it was already like 12 years after the short. So we weren't, I mean, Sarah is an amazing actress, and we were a bit, we felt in some way that we need to approach it anew. And also in the script, the character still was written as in her late 20s or something like that.
And meanwhile, Sarah's gotten a little older.
And Ulrich as well. They were both.
Right.
It happens to both.
So, interestingly, the interesting thing is that we like took 6 months of trying to cast a different Aya for the role.
I can't imagine another actor in the role.
Exactly. We told her, we were very open, and we said, you know, it was so amazing, but really, even for our creative libido, you don't want to always compare yourself to something which had quite wide distribution and was successful. You feel like you can only fail redoing it. So that's why at the beginning we were really searching, like, we'll take another angle, we'll do it differently, and we did this casting process.
We did casting for every possible actress, and it didn't feel we're getting there. And at some point we understood maybe Sarah's shoes are too big, and let's fly to Paris. Sarah was in Paris, and meet her, and we did a read with her. Immediately once we started the read, we looked at each other and we knew it must be her. And then we also understood that it's much easier just to change the age in the script. And I think this is one of those luck moments that, I mean, the unnerving thing about our profession being director is that you know you're dependent on luck. I mean, all good movies, you'll say to me, I'm sure there was some kind of luck involved in what happened. I mean, you plan what you can, but
that's luck. It's fate.
You summon it.
Destiny. Yeah.
It's like preparation meets opportunity. So the luck was just that really no actress could fill her shoes, and we had to take her. And soon enough, we saw that it's much more interesting when the character is
a middle-aged woman. Yeah.
And also the relationship, they really have something to lose. They really have something to fight for. It's not a relationship of people in their 20s that they just move on. So somehow, it was all for the best, and we're so happy that we can really work with Sarah because we trust her, she trusts us, and it was a very good experience.
So just give us a brief idea of what the film's about without spoiling it. It's a middle-aged woman, but in the earlier film she was a younger woman who meets somebody at Ben Gurion Airport, and
she goes to the airport to pick up her husband, but instead she finds herself through a coincidental encounter, picking up and welcoming someone else, a Danish lighting designer.
Played by?
Ulrich Thomsen, the actor from Festin. And
they had been together?
In the short as well. But this is, the short ended really just with their encounter. But here,
we
could take it really and see how can she now live from this sort of fleeting encounter that she had and spark that was created with this encounter. How can she live also with her reality? Can we do this again? Sorry,
that's great. But just going back, you have somebody of a Sarah Adler caliber. how did you even get her to agree to participate in the short film? And the short film was being made while you were still students? Or shortly
Actually,
thereafter?
When we finished film school, we felt we kind of still didn't finish expressing ourselves in the short medium. I mean, everyone was expecting us to take our graduation film and make start writing a feature film based on it, but somehow we felt that, you know, you're invested like 4 years of life in shorts, and we felt like we want to do some more shorts, and we even looked for. In Israel, it wasn't common to support short films. There was no funding for shorts, so we even went to international festivals and looked for partners. And that way we've made a short film called The Lost Paradise, which went very well, and it was a co-production with France. And through that, like Mihal said, we made, what was the question? I forgot.
No, why did Sarah agree for such, you know, I mean, I'm sure she wasn't paid thousands and thousands of dollars.
Right. So then we asked Sarah to do it, and we were really nervous because we didn't have a option B. It was just her, and we met with her, and she liked it. I think what happened with her is similar to what happened with Ulrich. You can say also, why would he do a short?
Tell us about Oded.
In Israel, so
he's a very established, well-known actor.
Right. So we didn't know how to approach him, and through some contacts we got to a Danish casting agent, and he told us it won't work through his agents. Let me try to contact him directly and send him the script. And then we were really nervous. It took a lot of time to get his response, and then he said. Ulrich wrote us. Said beautiful, poetic script. I really like it. So I think this is the key. If you're able to get your actor to read the script and you believe in the script and the script works on them, so they would do anything if it's a short, and then we were really like excited. But then the next letter was, I'm sorry, I really don't have time for the. I think we proposed to do it in a certain schedule, and he said, I'm sorry, I'm full, so we actually started looking for a different actor a few months.
Well, you did a lot of casting for this film.
It's very complicated to make a film. So he couldn't do it, and he said, I don't have a week to squeeze you guys. And for months we looked for other actors, and then in some miraculous way came a note from him saying, if you're still looking for me, I have this 1 week available, like, I don't know, a month and a half from now. And we rushed and prepared everything.
And then the French producer said, oh, I'm not going to produce anymore.
Because?
And because things took time, and he actually changed profession or something, you know, and I flew to Paris to sit with him and said, Ulrich Thompson just said yes. We just got funding. You must do it. I pleaded him to do it, and you know, and he was kind enough, and he said, I realized that, you know, that this project will not happen otherwise, and so he did it, and of course, you know, and then it reached the Oscars, and I think it was like for everyone involved, it had been such a long project.
We always feel that
celebrated.
Yeah, we always feel that anything that can go wrong goes wrong in our production, and we don't know if it's related to us or it's just the medium.
Except in this case, looks like everything went right. Just took a little time. It's unusual in filmmaking for a husband and wife to co-direct. And survive, the marriage to survive. You said you met it at the Sam Spiegel Film School. Clearly you must each have certain talents that you bring to the work, but what is it like working with your spouse?
I think we have a bulletproof relationship, because if we split, each one of us has to look for a different job.
That's very romantic of you to say. I think
it reassures you. It's not just the romantic. We have something more strong, the romantic holding us.
And it's kind of a creative mess, because sometimes in filmmaking duos, it's very clear. You know, one person is more on the cinematography, and the other works with the actors. And actually, we don't do that. We're really sort of doing everything together, and there's not one decision. Even before going to the actors, we'll always look at each other. Sometimes it's with very few words, decide what to do. So what is nice is that it really requires us to always talk about everything, and in a way it's like filmmaking is all about communicating with the audience. We're kind of our first audience.
Communicating with each other.
Communicating.
You have to articulate everything. You cannot work just by intuition. And I think it's more normal for a film process to have one director, but for us it's very good to be two, and it's like putting a stick in the wheels. It's like slowing the process, because it's very intimidating that you have to take so many decisions so fast, and the fact that we actually have to dialogue about everything is like slowing things, and I think it helps us to be more sharp, or to be more to better know what we're doing.
So you're sitting with your director of photography, preparing a shot on set, or you're sitting with your editor, deciding what you're cutting out and how you're cutting, and the two of you, I take it, are both there. And so now
it's kind of we call it a creative mess. It's kind of no rules.
With a great product.
Interestingly enough, that it's like, this is called the Jewish Cinémathèque. It's like Chavruta, when you learned the Talmud, which is all about being through dialectic thinking. Always like one says one thing and the other, and that's what's interesting. I come from a religious world, actually. I learned also Gemara, so that always says, why do you always have to say the contrary, the opposite? But it is. It's like we're always bringing both sides, and it really makes us sort of explore things.
Who's Shammai and who's Hillel?
I'm Hillel.
When we worked on the Trust and Smile with Brian Cox, we had a line producer, and I remember him saying one day, he said, I worked before with duo directing, but they thought the same. With you guys, it's always like different thoughts. And then he was kind of generous with that, and said, but it's good, because it's always interesting different thoughts. So I think if we would have thought the same, there was no added value for us directing together.
And still at the same time, we have those different thoughts, but we do have, we have the knowledge that when you talk to an actor, you have to have one voice. And when you talk, like you said, to the DP, it's very important. So we have this kind of internal dialectical conversation, and then we decide what will be the one voice that goes out.
And an amazing product.
Thank you.
Really, just an amazing film.
Thank you.
Women in Israel. Israel's a very male-oriented society. And you're making a film really as if you're going into the psyche of a woman who is struggling with a kind of midlife crisis, or at least an exploration of who she is as a woman. I sort of think of Buñuel's, sort of imagery of women, and what did you feel you brought out in her as a woman in Israeli society?
What is interesting?
She's certainly not Belle de Jour.
Right. So first, I think, you're asking, for example, when you look at her quest in the film, and people can ask, what does she want? You said an exploration, like crisis. Part of it is that you understand that she's not sure what she's looking for. And maybe only at the end she discovers what she was looking for. And it's so difficult to pinpoint what it is. It's a quality, maybe. It's sort of, yes, intimacy or a livelihood, things that are difficult to put into words. And I think that's part of maybe also the feminine quality, which is kind of ambiguous.
Feminine quality for a male director.
Half.
Yeah.
And what was interesting when we showed the film while as a process, when you edit, you show the film, or even at the end, and then all sorts of women told us, "Wow, I feel like Aya," And now Aya does very peculiar things in the film.
She certainly does.
Very irregular things that, when these women were saying that, I was like, really? You feel like her? And of course, every filmmaker wants people to identify it. And as they said it, I think we realized that, maybe the film or this character does embody the kind of under the surface desires or under the surface inner life that actually all of us, you'll say about male, but that we have and that are usually not spoken and that are not on the surface, and the film the film unveils them and reveals them, and I think that for women, whether it's in Israel or not, there's this liberating quality of validating this inner life that you don't usually have it there, you don't see it, especially as you say in a patriarchic society where and of course with the religion, etc., where that will be even less part of the discourse, and so it kind of feels like a certain acknowledgement of giving,
women,
those feelings.
Giving women a voice, a different kind of voice. And for you?
I can say from the male perspective, maybe. I mean, unlike Mihal, I'm not, Aviad, the husband, is not my alter ego.
Aviad is a professor who's often on business trips or on, going to conferences to present or to be part of something.
Yeah. But I do ponder about the questions that he raises about knowing your partner.
Knowing your partner and communicating with your partner.
Like in the restaurant scene, he thinks he knows Aya, and that strikes her. And I think that when you're a lot of years together, like we're a lot of years together, occasionally you might think, I get that, I know him already, but I think this is a very dangerous spot, because if you really think you know the other, then perhaps the relationship is dead. And because if you know him, then there's no more mystery, no more imagination. We all know that imagination is far more powerful than what our daily life has to offer. So I think whenever a partner is able to surprise you, to make you look at him anew, like happens at the third act of the film, that's like putting oxygen into the relationship, and that's maybe what lacks in the relationship at the start of the film, and hence the name Dead Language also.
Tell us about your choice of titles. What is the dead language? The lack of communication, or the fact that there's a lot of communication going on that's nonverbal?
And we like the idea of using the husband is a linguist, like you said. So we like the idea of using something from that realm for the title. And there's an interesting distinction in linguistics between extinct languages and dead languages.
Israel as once being a dead language?
Right.
Exactly.
and we found out that extinct languages are actually languages of the past. It's over regarding them, but dead languages are actually languages that still can be revived, like Hebrew. So we like this metaphor of, okay, the relationship is maybe dead, but could it be revived?
And like you say, the limits of the language is a verbal form of communication, because languages, they're a bridge between people, communicating between people. And sometimes you feel that when you say something, the other will understand it, but those bridges are so fragile. And it's the same about relationships. You can feel, this wanting to connect to people. It's in long-term relationships, it can be so fragile. And there is this force and this question of, how do you reach, maybe the nonverbal communication, everything that is, again, underneath the surface, has so much power. Where is that intimacy? Where is that sense of that you really manage to communicate with the other? And silence is also, it's dead language, but it's how do you connect with a person?
There's a terrific sensual quality to this film. and even a sexual undertone. And yet, you again, without spoiling the film, you play with this, but you, I think, uniquely, maybe because of your background, decided to make certain choices. What were those choices in terms of where she's ready to go and where she's not ready to go?
I think it's again the question. I had a conversation today with my girlfriends who saw the film last night for the first time, and they said the film would never work if it was a guy picking up.
Interesting.
Because then he'd go, first of all, because if it was a guy picking up a woman, spontaneously, the woman would get out of the car and walk away, and she'd be scared. And also, if a guy entered a hotel room, again, without making too many spoilers, a woman would call reception and she'd scream, etc. So it's certainly from the female perspective, but I think what is interesting also is what she's looking for, because it's not sexual.
Not at all.
And she's looking for some kind of connection which has, as you say, sensual quality. It has an erotic quality, but it's connection. It's and you can't really put it in any very clear box. And I think it's this which perhaps is, again, and I think I don't want to say male don't have that. On the contrary, I want to say, I think it's a human thing.
But Israeli women in particular are often perceived, at least, as stronger than other women might be, in general.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's the Jewish mothers that are.
Maybe that's it.
But so I think it's this quality of this vagueness and ambiguity between something that is sensual, is erotic, and not. And I think that's where the film tries to
take us. Yeah, I think that's a great way to end, because you've got to go see this film now to figure out where it takes you. The film is called Dead Language, and just incredible performances by Sarah Adler and Ulrich Thompson, as well as Yechezkel Lazarov. It was nice to see him.
And Lars Eidinger.
And yes, and I mean, I think of Yechezkel. I haven't seen him too much in cinema. I know he does other things, but it's great to see him in this film also. So please make a point of seeing Dead Language, and welcome. It's just been wonderful having both of you here.
Thank you very much.
And congratulations on being selected to be part of the Tribeca International Film Festival.
Thank you.
Thank you.